It's here, part 3. Let's go. And welcome back to another episode of Breaking Edge Outdoors. This is part 3 of this little video series with this project bow that we've got going on here. Today, I made a list. Today we've got a cable guide that we're going to put on, a peep sight to put in, and we're going to get the center shot for the rest setup. So it's going to be a short one today, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Okay, as you can see here, I've got my little portable press back on there, and I've got just enough to where there's slack in these cables. So what we're going to do, so we probably ought to know which direction this needs to actually go on. Okay, so what we're going to do is take our little cable slide here. I'm not entirely sure if this bow actually came with them. I really think the cables might have just ran on the other side of the cable, but to be more efficient with it, we're going to put the slide on. So that just slides over and just hook the cables in. That's all there is to that one. Okay, now that we got the cable slide put on, actually end up putting it back in the portable press here. I was going to try and use my big press, but it wasn't working. Okay, so I got it back in the portable press here, and what we're going to do is split the strands of the string and get them counted out evenly to put our peep sight in. Okay, so I counted out, and we have we have a 16 strand string. Since I didn't think to open it before I got this far. There. Just got a little Pine Ridge Archery Nitro peep sight. With this being a Dacron style string, it's a whole lot easier using 2 peeps. I'm not personally a fan of them, but they work. Okay, so now we got our peep sight. See the grooves in it. See these grooves in it down here. That's where we're going to put our string. The tube stem goes up. Make sure that's all in there in that string groove. Then we can start taking pressure off the press. Okay, now that we got the press off the bow, it is now time to set the peep height. A few things that we're going to need to do that is an arrow, because you never want to draw a bow without an arrow nock. That's how they explode. This particular arrow here is a Beeman ICS. It's the precision. It's the .001 straightness. Oh, my battery's gonna die. This arrow weighs 400 grains, 401.2 to be exact. The general rule of thumb is 5 grains per pound of arrow weight to draw weight. So for a 60-pound bow, you need a 300 grain arrow to be safe. So this one is well within that range. A silver Sharpie for marking the position, and ideally you would also have a no fire release, a release that is not functional. I don't have one, but I do have this True Ball Ultra 4 Sweet Spot. This is a hinge style release, but it has a safety on it, so it cannot go off without the safety being pushed. I'm going to put a new battery in this camera, and we'll pick back up here in just a jiffy. Well, that was quick. Okay, now that we've got a battery back in the camera, you can see right here we've got a safe backstop. Got a good solid target there, and if not, there's a concrete wall right there. Hopefully we don't hit this right here. That is my breaker box. That can be not fun. Anyway, okay, now that we've done a little bit of repositioning, I'm going to show you what I like to do. I've got my peep sight to D loop relatively close. What I like to do is I like to come back to full draw, anchor with my eyes closed, and just open my eyes. Ooh, it's jumpy. That is going to give you your ideal position for your peep sight if you can see straight through it. And this bow is super short. Corner of the mouth, tip of the nose. Okay, still just a touch low. Yeah, this is a lot of fun watching, isn't it? And that's perfect. I can see straight through that hole. As soon as I open my eyes, it's right there. Okay, now that we got our peep sight height set, what we're going to do is take our silver Sharpie, and right here on the sides where the tie-in groove is, we're just going to put a little mark right there. So that way whenever we go to tie this in, and if it slides on us, we'll know, and then we can put it right back in the same exact spot. And that's the beautiful thing about a silver Sharpie. So let's get this in the vise, and I'll show you what I'm going to do tied in. Okay, now that we got that bottom serving knot tied in, what we're going to do is just take and start pushing these. Well, if they will go. Sometimes you can get them to move them a little bit. Sometimes you can't. It all depends on how tight you got them. No, that bottom one's not going to go. That's alright. If we're having issues with our peep sight sliding around, then we can go back through and tie it in a little bit better. But as you guys can see here, let me shine a little light on it. As you guys can see here, our little mark here on our peep sight has moved. But that is exactly why we mark it, because then we can just take and push this right back to where it was. Now our peep sight is back in perfect position, and we're ready to get the tube part put on. Okay, now we've got our piece of rubber tubing here. We need to get it put onto our stem here, and then we need to put it on one of these cables. We need to figure out which cable. Well, I guess I don't know if that really matters or not, but we'll get her stuck on there and we'll show you how to do that. Okay, we got our tube put on. The cable here that's split with the yoke is going to be our down cable. We're going to go ahead and put it on that. It's the one closest to the string anyway, so we're going to do that. We're going to use that same knot that we used for the D loop. Okay, we're just going to go right straight, well, pretty well right straight across from it. We're going to go behind the cable, come around, go over the top. Let's give ourselves a little bit of slack here. Over, around rather, back around the front, and then up and through. And well, I wish that was a different color. It'd show up a little bit better. Yeah, you can kind of see it. Alright, then we're just gonna pull on that, snug it up a little bit. This doesn't have to be super tight because we need to be able to adjust it a little bit if we have to. It doesn't, when you come back to full draw with these, that doesn't have to be super tight, but you want it to be tight enough that it does actually rotate your peep around so that your peep comes straight back with your D-loop. And you can see it came around perfect. Setting the center shot's really pretty easy. All you really need is a tape measure or a square. Bow square. It was on top, so that's what we're going to go with. And you just want to set it against the riser and see where it's at in the front and in the back. And from there, what you can do is take and line up your string, your arrow, and then go ahead and get your get the pins in your sight set. It takes out that little bit of extra guessing, because right now these are out pretty far. There we go. That's a beautiful. Now, as you can see there, the arrow shaft is lined up perfectly with, well, pretty well perfectly with the string, but our pins are still way over. Let's make a real quick adjustment on that. And after a real quick windage adjustment, now our string, shaft, and pins are all lined up. Let me put my hat back on. I'm too ugly. Okay, so now what we're down to is getting some arrows built for this, which we actually have. We got more Beeman ICS Camo Hunters, 400 spine. Should work out great for a 60-pound draw. We'll get those cut and built. Well, we're going to get those cut and take you through my process of arrow. I learned my arrow tuning process from watching the Ranch Fairy here on YouTube. It's very informative. He's got lots of videos on tuning, not only tuning your arrows, but building them for high FOCs, which that's kind of split between the archery community, whether a heavier arrow is going to do any better than a lighter, faster arrow. But me personally, I went with higher FOC arrows for my hunting arrows. I'm running just over 18% FOC on a 500 grain arrow for now. We might do a little playing around with some arrows here this summer. Anyway, that's going to wrap up part 3 of this series. So thanks for watching. If you could do me a favor, and if you haven't seen the first 2 parts of this build, go ahead and look up those videos, and I'll get them put somewhere, either in the video description down below, or if I can figure out how to get them tagged in the little boxes that's going to pop up here in a minute. If you haven't seen part 1, part 2, definitely go check that out and tune back in. If not tomorrow, I'm not exactly sure what the weather's going to be, so we can get outside and get it tuned through some paper. But within the next day or so, we'll get these arrows built, and we'll start getting the arrows built, and we'll get her outside and we'll start getting it tuned. The thing I hate about bus cables is there's so many tuning options, and part of the reason why people love bus cables is there's so many tuning options. You can really get the bow dialed in. So we'll have to learn how to do that and bring you guys along for that if you want. Anyway, smash that like button. Drop me a comment if you're enjoying this video, or this video series. And as always, subscribe and ring the little bell notification wherever it's at. It's down there somewheres. But if you guys can do that, then you'll know when we upload the next video, and you'll see part 4 of this series, and hopefully that'll be all. Also, there may be a giveaway option in the next video. Anyway, this bow building project was a goal of mine, and if you guys have a goal, get after it and keep after it. Thanks for watching.